Think back to your sorest workout this month, the one where walking downstairs felt personal. If soreness is your scoreboard, you can waste recovery and still miss the real growth stimulus. The workout that builds most muscle is not the one that hurts most tomorrow. It's the one with the hardest progressive reps under real load. By the end, you'll know exactly why soreness is a bad scoreboard, what a growth-worthy set actually feels like, and how to train for size without needing to feel wrecked. It has 4 parts: why the soreness idea fooled everyone, what actually builds muscle, how to train for that, and how to judge if it's working. A lot of people still think like this. If a session barely made you sore, it probably wasn't good enough. That feels true. It also gets a lot of lifters stuck. Soreness mostly comes from novelty, hard lowering reps, and stress your body's not used to. So you can get very sore from something new or from dragging out the eccentric and still not create much of the main growth signal. You just created more damage and a bigger recovery bill. And the clean proof is this: high damage groups and low damage groups grew about the same when tension and total work matched. That alone should kill the myth. So treat soreness as trivia, not a grade. A sore workout can still be good, but soreness by itself proves nothing. Soreness tells you you got beat up. It does not tell you the workout built muscle. Keep using pain as proof, and you train like a punishment junkie. You end up congratulating yourself for inflammation while your progress crawls. Be honest, which one still feels more convincing to you after a workout? Sore tomorrow or numbers going up? So if pain is the wrong scoreboard, what is the right one? The answer is much less dramatic, annoyingly so. Muscle grows mainly from high mechanical tension. That just means the fibers have to deal with real force. The reps that matter most are the last hard ones. That is when the weight is heavy enough or the set is hard enough that your muscle has to bring in the bigger motor units to finish the job. That is why sets stopped far from failure look busy but don't do much. The set feels active, you get a bit of a burn, but the best growth reps never really showed up. And this catches more people than they think. Most lifters stop sets roughly 6 reps early, so they miss the reps that matter most for growth. So here's the cue. Judge a working set by whether the last 2 to 3 reps were genuinely hard, around 0 to 3 reps in reserve. Not sloppy, not to the point your form falls apart, just honest, hard reps. That one shift changes everything. You stop grading the session by how dramatic it felt and start grading it by whether the muscle actually had a reason to adapt. If this just replaced soreness with a real scoreboard, that's worth a like. But even after people hear that, they still sabotage it in a very predictable way. They start chasing damage on purpose. This is the phase where every week has a new exercise, every set has a super slow negative, every workout ends with some finisher designed to leave you wrecked and strangely proud of it. That style of training feels hardcore. It also burns through recovery fast.
Novelty spikes soreness because your body is less adapted to it. The same goes for overdoing the eccentric. That pushes fatigue and muscle damage up much faster than it pushes useful tension up. So now your joints feel beat up, your numbers stall, and your weekly quality work drops. You don't need to keep getting newly sore to keep growing. In fact, that habit often gets in the way. Full range reps do plenty. That is especially true when the muscle is loaded deep in the stretch. You do not need all the extra pain. That does not add more growth. So stop trying to feel newly wrecked every week. Keep your eccentrics controlled, use full range, build around a few high-tension movements you can repeat and progress. If you keep changing everything, you never give yourself a stable target to beat. That is how people waste months. They feel hardcore, they do not actually build a base they can grow from. Send this to the friend who thinks a workout only counts if they can't sit down the next day. Now for the part you actually use tomorrow, the scoreboard. As your body adapts, soreness drops. That is normal. Your muscles get better at handling the same stress, so you take less of a repair hit from each session. That does not mean the workout stopped working. Very often, it means you're finally adapted enough to train productively instead of just surviving it. And this is the twist most people miss. Your best growth phases often feel less dramatic, not more. You often feel less sore, but your performance improves, and that is the better sign. A bit rude, really. After the first weeks, damage fades, but the protein building response lines up better with actual growth. So less soreness does not mean less muscle gain. It often means less wasted repair. Here is the scoreboard. Track 3 things. Hit 10 to 20 hard sets per muscle per week. Take most working sets to 0 to 3 reps in reserve. Then try to add reps or a little load over the coming weeks. If those 3 are moving, the workout counted, even if tomorrow feels completely normal. Miss this, and you keep confusing less pain with less progress. Then you abandon the exact style of training that would finally grow you. Get it right, and you start training like someone who actually builds muscle. If you want more of this channel keeps stripping popular muscle building advice down to what actually grows you and what only feels productive. Over the next few weeks, keep the same core lifts long enough to earn progression. First, hit the top of your rep target with the same weight, then add a little load and build back up again. Keep most of those sets in that 0 to 3 RIR zone. Do not add extra pain tricks just because the session stopped feeling dramatic. That is how you make hard reps compound. That is how size builds. Quietly, then obviously. The thing to keep is simple. Soreness can happen, but it is not the goal and it is not proof. The real question is whether your sets got hard enough to create high tension and whether those reps, loads, and weekly hard sets are progressing. If you remember one thing tomorrow, make it this. Muscle does not grow because you damaged it enough to feel punished. It grows when hard reps under load create tension you can keep progressing.